Alright, this is part 2 of lesson 2. Part 1 showed how graphs equations tell us the shape of a parabola. In this second part, what I'm going to do is show you how to graph starting with just an equation and ending up with the parabola. And the parabola should be nice and neat and look very similar to the one I have already on this page. In fact, the equation I have in black, y equals x squared minus 2x minus 1, is the equation for the graph that you see on the screen. What we're going to do is pretend that graph's not there. We're just going to show you how we can generate that graph. If we get done, ours should look just like it and lay right over the top of it. Alright, our first step, find the axis of symmetry. Okay, the axis of symmetry is x equals negative b over 2a. Now recall that when we're in standard form, the coefficients are a, b, and c. So for us, a is just a 1. It's not shown here. But if there isn't one shown, it's got to be a 1. b is negative 2, and c is negative 1. So if we use this equation, we get negative of negative 2 over 2 times 1, which is 2 over 2, which is 1. Our axis of symmetry is at x equals 1. So I'm going to draw that in. Now we're going to get kind of clever. Notice how the vertex goes right through, or the axis of symmetry more appropriately, goes right through the vertex. I therefore know the x-coordinate of the vertex. It's 1. If I want to know the y value that goes with that x, I just have to plug in 1 into the equation, and it'll say, hey, when x is 1, this is the y value. So I do that. Where there's an x, I put in a 1. It says take x and square it, minus 2 times 1 minus 1. I get 1 minus 2 minus 1, and I get this and this cancel. I get negative 2. This vertex, therefore, when x is 1, the y value is negative 2. And there is my vertex. Okay. Once I've got my axis of symmetry and my vertex, I really just have to find a few more points to graph this equation. Okay? A great point to get in step 3 is the y-intercept. Okay? The y-intercept always has coordinates x equals 0, y equals whatever the equation tells us. That's a question mark. So I plug in a 0 for x, and I get 0 squared, minus 2 times 0, minus 1. It's just a c value, negative 1. So I have another point to graph, which is x is 0, y is negative 1. That's that point right there on the graph. Because I know where my axis of symmetry is, I know another point. Okay? And finally, I need to get, especially since those 2 points are very close, I should find at least one more point. Okay? You can pick any x value you want. Pick something simple that you haven't used. I'm going to use x is, well, let's see here. I don't want to plug in 1 for x because I already know that point. I don't want to plug in 2 for x because when x is 2, I get negative 1. So the next point I might plug in is 3. So I'll plug in a 3 for x. And that gives me 9 minus 6 minus 1. 9 minus 7 gives me 2. So there's another point. I plugged in 3, out came a 2. So I graph that one right there. Symmetry tells me I got another one 2 units away. And now I'm ready to graph in my parabola. And there it is. Okay? So I'm going to list those steps again for you. Step 1, find axis of symmetry. Negative x equals negative b over 2a. Step 2, find the vertex. Remember, you plug in your answer from part A into x in the function to find the y-coordinate. Step 3, find the y-intercept. let x equal 0 and find out what y is. Get another point. 4. Find another point. Pick some point you haven't used yet. Find an xy ordered pair. And step 5, reflect any point you have about the symmetric axis. And then draw in your parabola. Hopefully that will help you. You do have homework for this. I have graph paper in my room. Remember, work off of the online document. This is part 2 of your homework. Make sure you're doing the homework, not the classwork, and graph them. I think you have to graph like 6 of them, and then the other 6 they just ask you questions about.